My video for the 4th of July, 2018 is entitled, 3 Presidents Died on July 4th. On the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, longtime friends and occasional rivals Thomas Jefferson and John Adams both died. Adams served as the second president from 1797 to 1801. Followed by Jefferson, who served until 1809. But long before the 13 colonies had won their independence, Adams and Jefferson played vital roles in creating the document that declared men were created equal and entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Then on July 4th, 1831, James Monroe died from heart failure and tuberculosis. The 5th U.S. president, Monroe, had become the 3rd president and founding father to die on the 4th of July. 5 years earlier, while Adams and Jefferson represented their states in the Continental Congress, a teenage Monroe dropped out of college in 1776 to fight in the Revolution, enlisting in the 3rd Virginia Regiment, where he rose to the rank of lieutenant colonel. Historians consider Monroe the last president from the founding fathers. Adams and Jefferson would live to see the country expand well beyond the original 13 states. Adams was 90 when he died of a heart attack. Jefferson had been in declining health for years. Oh, and I had, before dying at age 83, I died that line. I had to scroll to get to that. Sorry about that. Yeah, as you've noticed, if you've been watching videos lately, I've been focusing a lot on the founding of the United States Republic. Now, ironically, Jefferson was a Democratic Republic. That was the name of the party. And the Federalist Party was the party of John Adams. Now, Monroe created the Monroe Doctrine and drew lines in the sand and said, you know, to Britain, stay out of North America. You know, they were already trying to, well, they had continually been trying to mess with things. By the way, I went to a discussion last night, and I hadn't realized that 3 presidents died. I did realize, of course, that Jefferson and Adams both died on the same day, ironically 50 years after the signing of the Declaration of Independence. I wasn't aware that Monroe also died at that time. And there were many things that came out in that discussion, which was for me sad, because they're saying all these songs that are patriotic songs, a lot of them country and western songs written by famous country and western people. I don't remember all the titles, but it doesn't matter. In any case, I mean, not only did I feel bad because of that, I had an intense tummy ache, and I made it from the beginning to the end of the meeting, and which I quickly exited to get to the restroom. But in any case, folks, we have been lied to, and our rights have been eroded over and over again by people, mostly, ironically, mostly the fake Jews that have infiltrated through the Bar Association, have infiltrated American jurisprudence. Now, a lot of the early Americans were lawyers, but they weren't bar attorneys. There's a difference between the two. And that's something that many people may not realize. Just because you're a lawyer doesn't mean you're part of the British Accredited Registry or a bar attorney. Bar attorneys have allegiance to something other than the United States of America. It's like dual citizenship, which was forbidden under the Constitution. That's what the original 13th Amendment was all about keeping people that held allegiances to Britain from obtaining public office in the United States. The founders were very, very serious about that. And of course, the first Secretary of Treasury, Alexander Hamilton, was killed in a duel by a sitting vice president, Aaron Burr, who was vice president under Thomas Jefferson. So, I mean, this is the kind of things that were going on 200 plus years ago. And, you know, we're still in a quagmire in the 21st century, because not only have some of the issues that were involved, that were rampant at that time, they have not been resolved, but they've added new things with the infiltration of people that have a financial goal and a goal of world domination. And this is one of the reasons that I'm focusing on things to do with the founding of this nation. And folks, you may say, well, I'm not an American. I'm not from the United States, so it doesn't matter to me. No, it matters to all of us, because America was cutting ground, or some of the forefathers that created the Republic were cutting ground and laying territory that we all have to reclaim as our territory if we're ever going to be free. You have to understand that the monetary controllers, the ones that create the slavery system, don't want freedom for the average person. They do not want you and I to have any rights. They would like to keep us dumbed down and enslaved. And this is not something that is in our best interest. It's only in the best interest of those that have a demonic agenda of control and domination. I resist that, and I will resist it as long as I have breath. I cannot fathom continuing to live on a planet that is run by malevolent forces. And folks, the Ashkenazi Jews that control much of the political and economic structure in our world, as well as the media, they are hell-bent on creating their own version of a one-world government where there is peace on their terms, which means no freedom of religion, no freedom of expression. You're not allowed to be a dissenter. You're not allowed to raise a voice in opposition to anything or challenge the status quo in any way. That's the agenda of the dark forces. And it was present in the founding of the United States of America. And rather than other countries following suit, I mean, there's other countries that created constitutions and things like that. And sometimes they were formed in similarity to what we did in the United States, what happened in the United States. But by far and large, no modern nation is free. Not even those that resist the control of the Rothschilds, like some of the Islamic countries do. And the world is a mess, in case you haven't noticed. When will action be taken to actually begin to liberate humanity from the clutches of this demonic agenda of international bankers that create city-states that are not part even of the nations in which they live? You know, Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, is not part of the United States. It's a separate entity. So is the City of London. So is the Vatican. They are not part of England or Italy. On the contrary, they are the states that rule the world, the city-states that rule the world, and it has to stop. That has to be brought to an end, and that's what I hope I can live to see it. Sometimes I get a little bit scared because I have symptoms that don't go away, like the numbness in my feet that I've talked about. Anyway, folks, I see my time is up, and so I'm going to say thanks for listening and namaste.